Okay, going.
Alright. Well, we would just like to talk to you about our new high school auditorium and all the things like private entities using it and what the school has to go through and the school board and your role about
We should probably do an introduction.
Oh, okay. So that was just a preview. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're here with Mr. Garza, and he's our high school principal, and we're here to talk to him about the same issues that we asked Mayor Bush about.
So,
Who'd you interview first?
Mayor Bush.
Oh.
Yeah. What is your role as a high school principal when it comes to other companies using our high school auditorium?
Yeah. There's a protocol in place, so that if the user groups contact my office directly, I actually refer them back to the auditorium manager. And then the auditorium manager reviews his schedule, and then he'll sign off on it, and if it's available, he'll ship it back to me. I approve to make sure there's no major conflicts with, let's say, like, for example, the girls' basketball tournament is on tonight. So we try to minimize the impact on the school community and the community at large. So as an example, for tonight, the first, or actually last night was the first performance, so that'll be the second performance with the Civic Light Opera. And so parking was a concern, and luckily it worked out. There wasn't any major conflicts. I'll give you an example of where the need to have that type of schedule. Originally, the Civic Light Opera wanted to have a performance on graduation. Well, as you know, we have approximately 5,000 people show up for graduation. So to have graduation and a major performance probably would have been prudent. So those steps are in place to avoid those major types of conflicts. So that's basically my role, is just to oversee to make sure that there's no major impact on the instructional program here or the community at large. Actually, the little-known fact, but the auditorium manager is not one of my employees. He's actually a district employee. So his boss is actually the superintendent, not me. So that's something new because of the unique nature of that position, because he's in charge of the community theater, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's just school-wide activities. It's community outside agencies such as the Civic Light Opera. There's a ballet company that's expressed an interest in it. As you know, we do some filming here for commercials and feature-length films, etc. So those are the things that we try to manage and avoid those major conflicts. He is, as I said, part of the district, and he's funded a little differently. He's not part of my budget in any way, shape, or form. So it's a symbiotic relationship, meaning we have to work together. And he's part, every Monday I meet with the office support staff here, the counselors, the assistant principal, athletics, activities, and he has joined that. So he interacts with us, and he's a vital member of our team now. He's kind of a standalone entity. It's almost like the auditorium is like a tenant almost now. I think that's probably the best example. It's like they're leasing space from us and working with us, but ultimately that money comes back to the school in a roundabout way. But the money does stay with the district that we do generate. So that's the good thing. The district's allowed us to keep that money here.
So do the students get to participate in this, like any of the events at all, or is it strictly for the companies itself?
No, it varies. As you know, we have a policy that prohibits our students from participating in feature films, commercials, etc. Unless they're on their own, they have an agent or whatever, and they're working that way. If they happen to be one of our kids, that's a little different scenario. But we don't allow our kids to serve as extras or anything like that. So to answer your question, though, yes. So the kids are involved. There's a couple of internships associated with the auditorium. So that's something we're looking forward to. And then in terms of our own productions, like Mrs. Hediott's recent production of the Three Ghosts, right? Three Ghosts.
Yeah.
I think I was student generated, student run production. So yes, but not in all events, except for those 3 or 4 interns that work directly with Mr. Taylor, the auditorium manager.
So who decides the companies that actually lease the auditorium? Is it the school or is it the school district?
Well, it's a joint effort. There are some things that would be appropriate and some productions that would not be appropriate. The big thing for us being the high school, is to make sure that it doesn't negatively impact the instructional program. And it's never a simple answer. It's always a balancing act. Yes, the kids might be impacted by the cameras and lights, but what's the impact? Oh, we gain $10,000 that we can apply towards lab supplies or whatever. So you have to kind of weigh it out. But ultimately, I would be the one that has to agree to signing off on the tenant. And that pretty much is how it was before. The only thing that's really changed is the calendaring, the scheduling. I'm kind of minutes and eyes, because that would take a lot of my time in the past, just kind of working with the outside agencies. And I still do that for filming and all, but because of the unique nature of the auditorium, there's a lot more interest in utilizing the auditorium. And so that's a nice thing. The money that's generated, some of the money that is generated by this will go to pay the salary for the auditorium manager as well. So that's kind of a neat feature. So it's really not costing us, the high school, anything. So that's a good thing.
So for the payment of it, how much does the school get and how much does the district?
Yeah, so it's hard to say because there's a percentage of the money that's coming from outside agencies as well. So in terms of over and beyond, it's contingent upon how much we bring in. So we have a dollar amount we have to reach, and then anything over and beyond that comes back to us for drama productions, etc. Primarily the arts, since it's an arts type facility. It's the first year, so it'll be interesting to see at the end of the year what our ending balance is like. I will answer this though, but like some of the outside groups, like our choral group, is assisting with the parking, for example. So any money they generated for VIP parking, they get to keep towards their expenses for their adventure in England. So, and I think we're still trying to figure out how we can maximize the kids' involvement. With the CLO, the Civic Light Opera, there's opportunities to volunteer, serve as ushers and concessionaires. I'm not even sure what all that really entails, but they like that. And I think it's a great thing to have on our site. It kind of adds a cultural element that we didn't have before. And I think it's going to be great. I'm be interested to hear what the mayor said about the downtown businesses. Hopefully taking advantage of that, and maybe creating some extra jobs down Main Street. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your
enough?
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should talk to Mr. Taylor though if you get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Because I think he would really give you another perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good break.
You too. Looking forward to it. I'm actually taking both weeks off.
Oh, wow.
Unless I get a call, then I got to come.
What are you going to